Hi students, I want to make a video for payroll. What I want to do is I want to talk to you about the Chapter 5 payroll test. So I have the actual test up on my screen right over here. I don't think it's as bad as normal tests. It seems a little bit more straightforward. So I'm going to go through the test with you and how to prepare for the Chapter 5 test. There's going to be, let me look here, um, 26 questions. Most of them are theory questions. So the first one is who pays FUTA? Who pays FUTA? Is it the employer, the employee, or both? Just make sure I am recording, and I am. Number two, educational assistance payments to workers are considered not taxable wages for unemployment purposes. I would refer to the PowerPoint. I believe this is addressed. For the purpose of the FUTA tax, members of partnerships are considered employees. Members of partnerships are owners. Owners are not employees. FUTA coverage does not include service of any nature performed outside the United States by a citizen of the United States for an American employer. Please check your PowerPoint, and it does address what happens if you have workers outside of the United States. It'll tell you what to do there. The location of the employee's residence is a primary factor to be considered in determining the coverage of an employee who works in more than one state. So I want you to check the PowerPoint, and there is a slide about when you have an employee that works in more than one state, and it will list the criteria for you. A bonus paid as remuneration for services, so that means like wages. Is it not considered taxable wages for unemployment tax even if the employee has not exceeded the taxable wage base? I think that's worded a little bit confusingly because it's true, not true, not true, not true. So I'm going to go through it one more time. Let's see here. A bonus paid as remuneration for services not considered taxable wages for unemployment tax purposes, even if the employee has not exceeded the taxable wage base. That is false. Okay. That would be something that they would have to calculate unemployment taxes on. In the case of an employee who changes jobs during the year, only the first employer must pay FUTA tax on that employee's earnings. I'm going to refer you to go back to one of our ungraded problems. And we had a problem, and I think it was number 7. I'm not 100% sure, but we had one employee who changed jobs. And then we had to calculate how much FUTA and SUTA they had to pay. So I want you to go back to that problem and double check what you had there. The maximum credit that can be applied to the FUTA because of SUTA contributions is 5.4. If you check your slideshow and take a look at how to calculate FUTA taxes, you're going to find whether this is true or false. If an employer pays a SUTA tax of 2%, the total credit that can be claimed against the FUTA tax is 2%. Again, go back to your slides and go back to the slide on how to compute the FUTA tax. So remember, FUTA starts out at 6%, and then there's a maximum credit. And the maximum credit is higher than 2% for SUTA. How can you pay FUTA deposits during the year? How do you pay FUTA deposits during the year? And if you did the matching and review, you will know what the answer to that one is. Employer contributions made to the employee's 401k plans that are included in total payments on Form 940 are deducted as exempt payments. If you did the last ungraded problem, we created a 940, you will know exactly how to handle that one. Payments of FUTA taxes are included with payments of FICA and FIT taxes and are paid as one lump sum. Not sure if we really talked about this that much, but this is false. What happens is both are paid through the EFTPS system, and what happens is FUTA is paid in one payment, and federal income tax withholding, as well as FICA and the Social Security and the Medicare. That the Social Security, Medicare, and income tax are one lump sum, and the FUTA is another sum. FUTA tax liability for the first quarter is $935. no payment is required for the first quarter. I want you to go back and I want you to review the FUTA tax liability. There's a certain magic number, and I know we covered this either in the matching or the problems, but when your FUTA tax liability becomes a certain number, then the payment is due. Okay, it's not 935 though. Okay, if a business has ceased operations during the year, as long as the payments of FUTA taxes have been made, a 940 does not have to be completed for that year. If you go back into your PowerPoint, you're going to find out what happens if a business closes up. Do they have to have a final 940 for that year? Under certain circumstances, a FUTA tax payment can be remitted with the 940. I want you to go and check and see if that would be true or not. Are they always separate payments, or are there any situations where you can remit your FUTA tax with your 940? All of the states allow employers to make voluntary contributions into the state unemployment fund to lower their contribution rate. Just so you know, this is false. Not all the states will do that. Remember, we had a problem that we worked on this, and in the problems that we worked on, those states were letting us pay into the unemployment fund to lower our unemployment tax rate, but not all states will do that. Okay, if you have a part-time employee, is the FUTA tax adjusted, or is it on the first 7,000? If you have a part-time employee, does the company pay FUTA tax on the first 3,500 or on the full 7,000? Is there any special limitation for part-time employees? And the answer is okay. Then, when do you have to do a Schedule A of a 940? Okay, and you only have to do a Schedule A if you have more than one state involved. Otherwise, if it's one state, you don't have to do the Schedule A. What do you do when you need to amend a 940? What do you need to do when we amend a 940? I think we covered this in the review. Okay, right over here, you just have to calculate the FUTA taxes over here. All you have to do, this is very straightforward. They're going to give you a SUTA rate and a FUTA rate. All they want is the FUTA tax on there. The next question is, you're going to calculate both the FUTA and the SUTA. Okay, they're going to give you the SUTA rate, and because they don't tell you otherwise, you can assume the very, very best rate for the FUTA, okay, which is the 0.006. On this calculation, this is talking about, let's see here, number 22 is, okay, this is about the reserve ratio, okay? So remember, we did question number 9. It was about the reserve ratio. So make sure that you review question number 9 in order to calculate this one. And the next question, we have a situation where, let's see here. Okay, this is reciprocal arrangements between the state. You have to calculate SUTA tax. Okay, so what you have to do is this person worked in a certain state and then he transferred to another state. Notice that, just take a look at it. He worked in state Q and then he transferred to state S. In state Q, the tax rate was 4.6%. In state S, it was 4% on the first 7,000. Okay, so what you're going to do, this is just like a problem that we had where you have two different states. Go back to your graded problems and take a look at this. What do you do when multiple states are involved? Okay. The next question, this is a company that was late paying its state contributions of 3.6. And this is just like problem number 8, non-graded number 8. We had a walkthrough on this particular item. On this particular item, what you have to do is you have to, let's see here. You have to, hold on just a second. 175 during the year, the company was late in paying its state's contribution. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to start with federal at 6%, and then you have to do that calculation just like we did in number 8 when there was a late payment. Holly, I'll be right with you if you can just hang in there for just a minute. The next one is this is okay, once again, this goes back to the rules. When do you have to pay into FUTA? Okay, there's another question similar to this, that question about $900. At what point do you have to pay in your FUTA liability? And the last question goes like this. You're going to fill out a 940. So if you did the last graded problem, you're going to be just fine with this. So thank you so much for your attention. And I am going to go ahead and stop the recording at this point. Good luck with the test. All right, thanks.